I cannot think of a more blatantly elitist attitude toward foreign or domestic policy than, quote, we'll just ignore it until the little people quiet down. That's, I mean, I said quote, that's not really a quote from them, but that's exactly what they said. That is the attitude of the Biden administration toward you, towards me, towards every American, frankly, every human that isn't considered part of the establishment elite. And remember, this is not just the Biden administration, it's Biden himself and his top aides who are just waiting for you to quiet down. I wrote a column this past weekend about how the establishment profits from Biden's Afghanistan retreat, how you and I are going to pay for it. You can go to westernjournal.com, just search The Uppercut, which is the name of my weekly column that I write approximately quarterly. I actually looked today, and it's the third quarter, and I have published 3 columns this year. So I'm right on track.
It's perfect.
With my weekly column that I publish quarterly. What we need to remember is that this attitude is not rare. It's not even unusual. It drives everything the establishment does. They want money and sex and power, and they will do whatever they feel they need to do to get more of those things. I used to think that the establishment elites thought they know better than us. And that's why they do things like ignore public opinion or even expert opinion when it suits them, because they think they know better than us. I don't believe that anymore. I believe they often think they know better, sure, but that's not what drives their behavior. What drives their behavior is they don't care whether they know better than us or not. They don't care if they're right or wrong. They don't care about moral questions of good versus evil, or beauty versus ugliness, or truth versus falsity. They don't care about any of that. They care about money, sex, and power, and how to get more of it all the time. To them, if something gets them more money or more sex or more power or some combination of those 3, it's good. They're going to do it, and they're going to do as much of it as they can. And if Heartland Americans complain, the establishment elite, including, of course, the establishment media, will just ignore it until the little people quit whining. All right, guys. That was a much more Greg Gutfeld rant than I was
good.
going for.
Very well done.
Impressive.
Yeah, sorry, Greg. I was not trying to steal your grift.
I mean, we are on the same time slot.
He shouldn't even have a show today.
All right, I'll just tell him that he can have that. Greg, go ahead. You can transcribe that, use it for your own. I won't mind. How do you think the waited out strategy is going to work for Joe Biden, guys? Cameron, since this is your first time in studio, let's start with you. Do you think this is going to end well for them?
Well, his approval ratings have been going down already. We already know the results of that. And I think it's very kind of disgusting for them to assume that we're going to somehow forget about this. But they're also making the assumption that the media will move on from this too, that the news cycle will move on from this. And I think what he is dealing with is, we've been seeing clips from the past week where you're seeing even CNN criticizing the Biden administration's action.
Yeah, this was Reuters I was reading from.
Exactly.
That wasn't the New
we're
York Post.
seeing how deep in hot water they're going to get with this, and they want to pretend like nothing's happening, because this administration, I've said it a lot on this show, they aren't really focused on anything but presenting a good public image, but they are so terrible at presenting that they're relying on their allies in the media to do the dirty work for them.
To fluff it up for them. Yeah, what a great point. Joey, what do you think? Does this end well for them?
I don't think this ends well for them. I don't know if you guys watched Biden's press conference earlier, but it was what I would call a complete disaster.
It was ridiculous.
He blatantly lied to us, the American people, to 330 million of us. He got up there and he spoke and he lied. He tried to say that there aren't Americans struggling to get to the airport in Kabul.
Yeah.
And he
Don't believe your eyes. Believe Joe Biden.
Exactly. And we trust the Taliban. We're making deals with the Taliban. So this elitist mindset was present in Joe Biden's press conference, because he believes that we should forget all the images that we've seen, just believe the master leader, Joe Biden, and move on from this subject. But I don't think that's going to happen. Like Cameron said, the media has turned on Biden. His approval ratings are tanking. Republicans and Democrats almost universally agree that the Afghanistan crisis is Joe Biden's fault. No, Americans aren't going to move on, and they shouldn't move on from this subject. This is massive, and Joe Biden seems to be the sole person to blame. There are other strategies he could have used. He didn't. He didn't listen to intelligence officials. This is his fault, and I hope he doesn't move. I hope Americans don't move on from it, and I don't think they will.
Is there a way for Biden to rebuild faith in his ability as commander-in-chief?
No, I don't think so.
You think that's over?
I think it's over, because these images aren't going to go away. And Americans are going to continue to blame Biden for the state of foreign affairs in America. And I also think this won't be the first issue that Biden has. I mean, he's had many issues, but this is his first major one. I think we're going to see like more medical tyranny, for example. Parents don't want their children to be masked in schools.
Yeah.
And Biden's going to try to force that down our throats. He's going to try to go to war with GOP governors. I think there's going to be issue after issue that leads to the failing of the Biden administration. So I don't think he can rebuild. I think this will stay with him until the end.